when you think of the best standard banner character in Honkai Star Rail, from the top of your head, you're probably thinking of definitely Bronya. Bronya's a support, so she won't be as easily power crept as damage dealers. Her support is also incredibly strong, with her being able to give crit damage and allowing hyper carries to get an extra turn. But what if I told you it was Gepard instead? So if you know me, you know I don't really like shields in, say, Genshin Impact. But the main difference in Star Rail and Genshin Impact is that in Genshin Impact, you're able to have universal defensive options like dodging and using your ultimate as a source, or elemental burst as a source of invincibility frames in dire situations. So, and every character has this option, meaning if you are good enough at the game, you don't really need shields at all. But in Star Rail, it's a turn-based game, so you're not in a situation where you can just, okay, let me press left click and just dodge out of the way. No, you can't just skill dodge everything. So in the case of a big AoE coming your way, Cocolia, you're gonna be forced to take the hit on all of your allies. So especially when your allies are not, well, hyper carries are not focused on defense at all, because why would you? There's a big chance that they'll just immediately die off that one big AoE. So, which necessitates a shield, because a shield is your only other form of defensive options. Now, the thing with Gepard is that he doesn't only shield your team. No, he does much more than that. He lives up to his name by being an actual tank by drawing aggro onto himself. So, on using his ultimate, he shields the entire team, protecting them from big AoEs and potential attacks by enemies, while also shielding himself and allowing himself to become tankier and giving himself more survivability and tank just more damage. He's also focusing a lot of aggro on himself, so yeah. This is not in a situation where it's like, oh hey, guys, use March 7th. No. Like, March 7th fails at being a preservation or a tank because she gives a shield that draws aggro onto the character you are shielding with who she targets. And you're in a situation where, okay, let's say your hyper carry, your Seal, your Sushang is low HP, I gotta shield them. Well, if you shield them with March, the aggro provided by the shield is gonna start targeting the character you want to defend. So if Sushang's low HP, you're adding more damage that they have to take, for example. And there's a chance that they'll probably die. It's because you're drawing more attention to them. Now, it could have been better if March drew aggro onto herself instead, but even then, you are not protected from big AoEs. That's enough energy. Okay, if I can keep this tempo up, I could keep... Oh god, okay. Uh-oh, I might wipe here. Oh! Yeah, this is why March this is why March is not a good tank. Oh my. Well, preservation main character is pretty good. The problem is that they don't have the same protection Gepard has. So no big shields to protect from AoE. But the only thing that makes preservation main character, or the fire main character, better than March is just the team-wide damage reduction. Like, sure, like the 15-20, I don't know, like the damage reduction Trailblazer gives on using their shield to taunt all enemies is decent, but it's way better than March. It's also a taunt, so enemies will have to focus the Trailblazer instead of your other characters, which, yeah. Lamau. Okay, yeah, I think I should. Okay, I think I should redo and add this in. Wow, nice shield. This is why preservation main character is decent, but ooh. Why do people use March, man? Why do people use March? Like, March is not good. Like, okay, maybe you can freeze with March, but like, freeze is not even that good. Okay, she can break enemies by having her follow-up attacks, sure, but the problem is, her follow-up attacks are limited to twice per her turn, and so even then, breaking an enemy is doesn't really give you that much because their next turn they're just gonna instantly recover, and if you're in a wrong tempo where you can't have your hyper carry to deal damage while they're broken, it's pretty pointless. And it's much better to not actually break an enemy and to keep their toughness meter up just so you can deal bonus damage. Now, if you're dealing with like a big boss who's like Cocolia, who's gonna, nuke you every few turns, okay, maybe it's worth it to drop their shield, but yeah. And right now, there's not really good defensive options that are available in Star Rail right now. The only tanks you have, again, are Preservation main character and Gepard. That's it. We're gonna have to wait for like other tank characters like Foshuan, and like you can't even have healers as a defensive tool because healers can only be used reactively. So you can't over heal your teammates. You can only heal them when they're taking damage. But like, if there's a team wipe and they just immediately get vaporized, you can't heal them at that point. So yeah, if you get Gepard, or if you get Gepard from your like first 50 pulls and you're thinking, I don't want Gepard, hopefully this has brought a bit more insight to it, and maybe you'll even consider getting Gepard at your 300 pulls, because I think that even Gepard may be outclassed in the future. There might be characters who bring shields that are like, oh wow, this shield gives damage, it gives freaking damage reflection from like like thorns in Minecraft or else, but well, if you made it this far, thanks, appreciate it, see y'all later, bye bye.